whatever president we're talking about, they all have the same duty to serve the seniors who were promised something on Social Security, and that mission is going to be executed regardless of party, regardless of president. But, sir, what you did was to essentially do a workaround of the incoming administration. When you signed this agreement with the unions over at the Social Security Administration, did you do it purposefully to undermine President Trump on his way in the door?
No, I did it to sustain.
That was the ex-SSA commissioner under the hot seat again with some tough questions about some shady stuff going on at the Social Security Administration. You're not going to want to miss that. I'll play that full video clip. Also, we have a new proposal coming out for Social Security change. Take a look at this. Proposed bill would end income tax on Social Security, and also the benefits to change for thousands under new proposals, as this is only going on in 2 states. Yes, 2 states out of 50 states for this Social Security proposal. I'll let you know which states, what's going on with it, who's affected, how this could be the framework for a bigger national Social Security bill, and I'll give you some other important updates as well. Before I dive into the main content, if you appreciate the Social Security updates, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more Social Security updates. So when it comes to those Social Security proposals, no income tax on Social Security, this is only going on in 2 states, which is wild to think of. Why not just all 50? Well, there's a reason for that. I'm going to go over that, but first, take a look at this video clip. Yes, it is from a couple of weeks ago, but I wanted to share this with you. I didn't have a chance to. It got over 1 million views. I really wanted to share this with you, so it lets you know what kind of shadiness was going on at Social Security. So take a look at this. I'll go over the bill proposal.
Is that right?
Correct.
Can you please explain the difference between the definitions of telework and remote work?
Yes, remote work is 100% from a different location and can include living entirely thousands of miles away. Telework is having the ability to work anywhere from 1 to 5 days a week at a remote location.
Okay. Can an agency force a federal employee to telework? Like similarly, can an agency force a federal employee to show up for work?
Yes, and we saw that happen during COVID-19. There was forced telework that happened, and they should have the ability to force an employee to show up to work. But when you have problematic components that are baked into the cake for the new administration that prevent, such as deputy commissioners at SSA, from having that authority because of a collective bargaining agreement, that's arguably counter to the law.
Do you feel it's within the purview of the President of the United States to set the work schedule for federal employees across the board?
I do, and in particular telework, that's what the Telework Act of 2010 requires.
Ms. Cross, do you agree with that assumption that the President of the United States has the broad authority to set work requirements for federal employees? Well, you can't think about it now, Ms. Cross. We're here. We're on the fly. Do you think it's under the purview of the President to set work requirements for federal employees? Since essentially in our system of government, we have a unitary executive, and the President of the United States is the executive branch.
Sure.
Okay. Mr. O'Malley, do you agree with that assessment that the President of the United States has the unilateral authority for setting work requirements for federal employees?
No, under the law, he has the ability, but
Mr.
it's not
O'Malley.
unilaterally. He has to abide by the law. At least in a republic, you abide by the law.
Mr. O'Malley, do you believe that the President of the United States is the executive branch? Whether it's President Trump, President Biden, President Obama, President Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, President Reagan, do you believe that the President of the United States is the unitary executive and is the executive branch?
Yes, and he has to abide under the law. He has to obey the law.
So you mean to tell me that the President of the United States doesn't have the ability to set work requirements?
I'm saying that he does, but he has to do so under the terms and the rule of the law. And so, and contract law and things contained in agreements that are negotiated under the law are things that the president has to be mindful of and should be, and should be guided by.
When you signed this agreement with the unions over at the Social Security Administration, did you do it purposefully to undermine President Trump on his way in the door?
No, I did it to sustain the big customer service delivery improvements that this greatly depleted agency had made in the course of the year, and to try to staunch the attrition rate and the fact that so many are eligible for retirement. The reduction in staffing is really hurting a lot of seniors in every one of your districts, a lot of people with disability, a lot of our poorest people that are on SSI. I did what I did in order to better serve the American people.
But when you set this agreement, knowing that the presidential election had already been decided, did you call Mar-a-Lago and say, hey, what's your opinion on this?
No,
Did you ask President Biden to reach out to President Trump in a matter of transition and say, hey, which way do we want the next president to be able to administer the employees that are under his purview
I
as the
certainly did
unitary
not.
executive?
I worked for President Biden. He appointed me, and I was confirmed in a lopsided bipartisan margin by the Senate, and I executed the duties that I was assigned at Social Security to better serve senior citizens, better serve people on SSI, and people with disabilities. That's what I did,
My
Congressman.
counter argument to you, Mr. O'Malley, is that whether it's whatever president we're talking about, they all have the same duty to serve the seniors who were promised something on Social Security, and that mission is going to be executed regardless of party, regardless of president. But, sir, what you did was to essentially do a workaround of the incoming administration. But I'm going to come back to you later. Ms. Grezler, I'm going to come back to you. You stated earlier in your testimony about we do have an issue with some of the federal employees who are doing work, union work, on federal government time. Can you expound upon that?
Yes, unfortunately, we don't have any more data on that because the Biden administration stopped collecting that. But if you use what the Obama administration, those figures, and convert them to today's salaries, taxpayers are paying over $300 million per year to pay federal employees to step away from the jobs they're hired for and to instead go do union work on taxpayers' dime.
Mr. Chairman, if you will oblige, what is some of do you have an idea of some of the work that's being done on federal government time for the unions that they're a part of?
That can include negotiations. It could include lobbying Congress. It can include helping employees to file grievances or unfair labor practices if they have their telework policies taken away from them.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that it's in the interest of this committee and, frankly, of the United States going forward that we find out exactly what work is being done while employees are being paid by the federal government that is not within the purview of the job that they were hired to perform. I yield back.
Absolutely. Chair now recognizes Ms. Ansari from.
What are your thoughts on what was being said by the ex-SSA commissioner? Do you think shadiness was going on? Is he covering up? Do you trust him? Do you trust Representative Byron? What are your thoughts on that? So let's get into this. Social Security benefits to change for thousands under new proposals. So lawmakers in 2 states are pushing to change rules about the taxation of Social Security benefits. So tens of millions of Americans receive Social Security benefits, with some 40% of them paying federal income taxes on their entitlements. Only 9 states have a state-level levy on retirement incomes, which is Colorado, Connecticut, Minnesota, Montana, New Mexico, Rhode Island, Utah, Vermont, and West Virginia. So Social Security claimants in Vermont and Utah could end up with some extra cash in their pockets if 2 separate proposals become law. So in Utah, Governor Spencer Cox has proposed an elimination of state taxes on Social Security income. Currently, taxes start at $45,000 in income for single filers and $75,000 for couples, for joint filers. So the proposal will need to be reviewed along with Cox's budget before it can become law. So that's just in Utah. This has happened with the budget could be finalized by March 7th. So if you live in Utah, looks like you may not get that. And then also Vermonters with an income of $50,000 per year and couples with incomes under $65,000 per year are not currently required to pay state taxes on their Social Security payments right now. Around half of the 161,000 Social Security recipients in Vermont don't have to pay taxes. So the bill put forward by Democrat Representative Dan Noyes and Republican Representative Jim Harrison, so this is bipartisan. What they said here is the bill proposes to phase out Vermont income tax over a period of 8 years, with the first round increase in the current exemption by $15,000, the second year $12,000, and $10,000 for each subsequent year. My question is, why are states taxing Social Security to begin with? And also, if Trump eliminates tax on Social Security completely, these bills won't even have to be done. But what I think this may be doing, it could be laying the groundwork. Maybe they're experimenting in 2 states with no Social Security. They're phasing it out, see how that goes. Then maybe Trump will just go in and make this national. Maybe they're testing the waters with Utah and Vermont, and then somehow make this a national thing. But Trump would actually need Congress to make the change for Social Security. If it could be done through his executive order, I think it probably already would have been done, as Trump has done many executive orders on Social Security. So I'll keep you updated what happens with this, as it may be a national plan as well. Maybe this is the way to do it, phase out instead of just zero tax on Social Security. So I'm going to let you know what happens with that, keep you updated, and that is all the news that I have for you today to hopefully cheer you up a bit. Here's my daughter Belle's tip of the day.
Hi guys, this is Belle. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing that you should do. So when you have to treat people equally, and make sure that if you treat people nice, they'll treat you back nice.
If you didn't catch Representative Larson's recent speech in Congress about Social Security, you're going to want to click this one. It's a real fiery one, talking about the need to increase Social Security. I'll also give the latest Social Security updates regarding the Social Security freeze, how Congress stole trillions of dollars, also how they tried to increase their salary, all this crazy stuff with Congress. So click that video now, and I'll see you in that video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.